grace of Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Spirit be with us.
Thank you for joining us again. This week we're spending time with all of the letters that Paul writes that start with the letter T. And they're all grouped together in scriptures. We're just dipping into different passages, some familiar passages as well, in these books this week. As I'm writing these and recording these, we've had the terrible incident in Nottingham. I don't know if you've heard the two fathers speak at the memorial service. Two dads speaking of the two students who were murdered in that attack. It was very tough to hear. Just reminded me really of how quickly life can change for us. One moment all can be well and normal. The next, an event, some news, a change can shake us to the core, turn our world upside down. Life can change in an instant. Of course, as a church family, we are amongst people all the time who are experiencing these life-changing events. As a large family, we always have those going on in and around us. Medical emergencies, sudden deaths, breakdowns, job losses, relationship breakups. They can all strike without warning, leaving us reeling. Life changed forever. We must be a community, of course, that supports each other through such times. The letters to the Thessalonians speak into the uncertainties of life. It's written into the context of great suffering and persecution. As we read yesterday, the followers there have flourished despite that persecution. But also, as we mentioned yesterday, one of the focuses for Paul in these letters to the church in Thessalonica is the return of Jesus. The hope to be found in this, and how the reality of the expected return should influence how we live and cope with life, with all of its ups and downs. We're going to read from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 1 to 11. 1 Thessalonians 5, 1 to 11. Now, concerning how and when all this will happen, dear brothers and sisters, we don't really need to write to you, for you know quite well that the day of the Lord's return will come unexpectedly, like a thief in the night. When people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them. As suddenly as a pregnant woman's labour pains begin, there will be no escape. But you aren't in the dark about these things, dear brothers and sisters. You won't be surprised when the day of the Lord comes like a thief, for you are all children of the light and of the day. We don't belong to darkness and night, so be on your guard, not to sleep like the others. Stay alert and be clear-headed. Night is the time when people sleep and drinkers get drunk. But let us who live in the light be clear-headed, protected by the armour of faith and love, and wearing as our helmet confidence of our salvation. For God chose to save us through our Lord Jesus Christ, not to pour out his anger on us. Christ died for us so that whether we are dead or alive when he returns, we can live with him forever. So encourage each other, build each other up, just as you are already doing. Well, this letter was written, people thinking about AD 50. Like we said, it's thought to be the earliest, or at least one of the earliest surviving Christian documents. And I guess for the people there, when will Jesus come back? Must have been a very hot topic. They probably would have expected him to have returned by that point. And in both letters to the Thessalonians, Paul seems to be warning against complacency, against idle waiting until Jesus returned. For Paul, the knowledge that Jesus will return suddenly without warning should encourage us to not live idly and waiting, life on hold, but to live good lives for Jesus and his kingdom, to make the most of every moment. As they were waiting, whatever life brought them, they could cling to the confidence of belonging to Jesus and live in the light of the promise that Jesus would come in power, would put things right with the world. But in the meantime, they were to live alert and clear-headed, encouraging one another, building each other up, being ready for that day when he does return. I guess for the followers in Thessalonica, it would have been unthinkable that 2,000 years later we're still waiting for Christ to return. Whilst for them it was an imminent possibility, for us perhaps, I don't know, maybe it doesn't feel very imminent. But all generations are called to live as if Christ could return. We're called to be focused, alert, clear-headed, encouragers, people who build each other up as we wait for his return. People who call each other on, live as if Christ could come back. Live making the most of our opportunity to serve his kingdom. That's Paul's message pretty much 2,000 years ago. And I think that would be Paul's message to us today. Take courage. May it be our inspiration and our hope. May it inform us and motivate us here and now. May God bless us as we seek to live for him.
May the grace of Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Spirit be with us. The Lord bless us and keep us, his face shine upon us, his grace and his peace rest on us. The Lord bless us and keep us, his face shine upon us, his grace and his peace rest on us. May the grace of Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Spirit be